where the drama starts. Lap 30, 8 laps to go. Sam Doby hoping to take advantage of these lapped cars. Pileski goes, dives on the right side. Very aggressive here. This is lap 4. The two Viceroys, Bill Frazier ahead of Matt Pileski. Frazier's off. Frazier hit the grass. You hit that tire wall, your day is done. Well, now it's lap 20. The Williams still trying to get around the Terrell team as he'll go around the left car and around those at the same time. At the same time, he's got the inside corner. Will he ride the curb? Yes, he will. He will get him on the inside. Nuno Maria leading us all into Moss's corner. Look at the beauty as his right side will cook the grass. Oh, a 180, no, a 360. Oh. Who will yield going into this corner? It's really not meant for too wide as it will be Gernald. Gernald will yield. Lots of smoke picking up from that Williams car. He is pushing it to the absolute limit. 26 of 30 now. Only 4 laps to go. He's going to get the run coming out the final corner. He's going to pull up side by side with the leader. It's going to be a drag race to the finish. Who is going to get there first? It's going to be...
Le Mans. Really, that's all that needs to be said as we arrive in France for the 10th round of the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship. That's right, folks, we're about to watch these classic Formula One cars race around this large and prestigious circuit in northern France. Hello everyone and welcome to the Circuit de la Sarthe, where we're about to bring you 1 hour of fast and loud racing action here on GSRC. I'm Samuel Ryman, and alongside me in the booth is former IndyCar driver Richie Hearn. Behind the scenes is our director Amjad Yamin, and he is doing all of the button pushing using camera sets provided by Dougie Beard. Richie, normally we see sports cars racing here, but even though these open wheel cars are entirely different beasts, the goal remains the same around this circuit, and that is go fast.
Yeah, thank you, Samuel. Yeah, this is one incredible place, Le Mans. If you don't know what that is, you've probably never watched a race in your life. So this track is so classic. There are no numbers for the turns, all names. The famous Dunlop chicane going under that famous Dunlop bridge, through the S's, down into Tête Rouge, which leads you onto that long Mulsanne straight. We do have a couple of chicanes breaking that up, but it is one fast place. Everything's about speed here, so I assume that everybody will be trimmed out to the max. And with lap times running around 3 minutes and 36 seconds, it takes forever to get around. So probably the best way to get a look at this place is let's jump on that GSRC lap guide.
All right, we've got Johan Noor-Lampe in the GSRC Lotus 79, so let's do a lap around Le Mans. Coming down the front stretch, it's nice and wide and there's plenty of room for dicing, but once you reach the Dunlop curve, you've got to get over to the left. Despite the amount of downforce on this car, you've got to already start braking so that you can get slowed up for the Dunlop chicane. Expect some passes here, but the entry can sometimes make it a little hairy. From out of there, you'll head under the Dunlop bridge and into the Chapel rundown. It takes some feathering on the throttle, and you'll want to hold it to the right to set yourself up for the Forest S's. Try to use the banking to really carry your speed. The exit of the right-hander takes a particular bit of care to make sure you don't loop the car. And then from there, really focus on hitting your marks for Tête Rouge. This is easily one of the most important corners because if you botch this exit, you'll lose time all the way down the Mulsanne to the Forza chicane. You might be lured into trying to brake too deep for this corner, but resist the temptation. Since it empties back onto the Mulsanne yet again, it's critical that you get another good exit. Always look to find the power early. The same thing goes for the Michelin chicane. Do your best not to overshoot it on entry. It's the same as the one before, just mirrored so it's a left-right-left instead of a right-left-right. Be careful with the curb so that you don't unsettle the car either. From there, it's another decently long straight until you come to the frustrating braking for the Mulsanne corner. Because they added a roundabout here many years ago, there's a nasty kink right as you're trying to slow the car. Be careful not to drift it into the gravel because you'll want the best traction possible coming off the bend. You'll be flat out for a long time once again until you reach Indianapolis. Drivers will lift and start bleeding onto the brakes to scrub off speed while maintaining control into the tight 90-degree left-hander. Then you're immediately into Arnage, which is one of the slowest corners on the track. Be careful about the barriers to your left and then get on the gas. After the Busch curve, you'll hit the Porsche curves. They'll force you to bleed off speed as they tighten up. The real worry comes with bridge and the big blue wall on the outside. If you survive that, you come into karting, and the importance of the right line becomes more and more apparent. The last little left-hander invites you to use up the runoff, but if you do, you're likely to get a slowdown penalty, so stay within the track boundaries. Maison Blanche just weaves you back and forth real quick, and now you're heading into the final few corners of the track. The Ford chicane offers a unique challenge in that the first left-right is relatively quick. Then the second one tightens considerably and has much taller curbs. Try your best to find traction once more, and hopefully you've now finished a lap around Le Mans.
Well, that's almost a full lap around here at Circuit de la Sarthe. We cut a bit of a straights out for you. They get you around here quickly. Let's get you around the point standings quite quickly as well. We're going to take a look at our driver and our team championships. Starting with the driver championship, there you see we're counting all 4 drop weeks of the 9 races so far contested. And when you tally up the 5 remaining races, Nuno Moreira is holding a 45-point lead over Gernot Frisch. Matt Wood has jumped up a position in the standings, up into 3rd, with Michael Vandenberg down there in 4th place. And Adam Fraser still hanging out at the bottom end of the standings there, but still with today's race to go and 2 more races following today's race, a bit of ground can be made up, especially considering that this is a top of 2 splits going on right now, so big points available in this race. Let's take a look over at the team championship. And currently, the leader of our team championship is McLaren. They took the points lead away from the Equipe Talbot Gitans team a couple of rounds ago. They currently head it by 10 markers. Down there you see Renault are sitting 3rd in the points, and Williams and Lotus rounding out the top 5 in the standings. Nice little scrap going on there for 4th place in the team standings. Richie?
Yeah, those team standings are pretty close. So these couple of races are going to be important for both drivers and whoever team you're on to score some points. And also the Drivers' Championship is not over yet. So this should be an exciting race. We've got some fast drivers in this split. And like we were talking about, it's a pretty incredible track. And we should see some really good passing here.
Yeah, and let's take a closer look at today's race details here.
And here we are around... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Richie. We're just getting them pulled up on screen right now.
Yep, sorry about that. Yeah, we're here around 10 of 12. We got 4 driver drops and 2 team drops. They've been calculated in already, so that has been compensated for. This is only going to be a 12-lap race, but it is, an 8-mile lap. So it takes 3 minutes and 37 seconds to get around. So not many laps to go. We will have open setups here, but no reason to stop for fuel or tires. They can go to distance. Working on your normal 17x incident cap and using the official iRacing point system.
Now, one thing that could be very mixed up here today is the grid, because these drivers only have an 8-minute-long qualifying session as usual, and it's taken almost 4 minutes just to turn 1 lap around here. And of course, with 33 turns, there's plenty of opportunities for mistakes, so even if drivers do get a clean lap, maybe they're not showing their true potential during their qualifying lap because they're taking it a bit easy, Richie, just to make sure they can get a time in.
Yeah, it's really easy to get a 1X on this track as well, have some slowdown areas. So you do that one time, obviously that lap is gone, and unless if you join the session right away, you're going to squeak in 2 laps. But man, it's not much room for error out there for qualifying.
Currently, our provisional pole sitter is Matt Wood. He has it by less than a tenth over Sergio Marcia, so 2 names we're used to seeing up front currently holding down the front row. Gernot Frisch, his first lap wasn't very hot. He's down there in 7th, so he would have a bit of work to do unless he can turn it in a quicker time.
And it's amazing to look at those times, between Matt and Sergio. I mean, 1/10 of a second, less than a 1/10 of a second over this 8-mile long track. That's pretty incredible that they can still be that close.
It looks like Prix is going to probably get a second lap in here. We still have 80 seconds rather left on the clock, and he's working his way through the final portion of the lap now. 21 cars in this race. As we mentioned, this is a top of 2 splits going on. And the thing is, when you have not necessarily a small field, Richie, but I mean, we've seen fields of about 35 cars in size. When you have a 21 car field and such a strong strength of field, every position is worth a lot of points, and you know, a lot more points than the one behind it. And of course, that top position is what everyone's going to be gunning for.
Yeah, we kind of saw that at the last race. We had a huge iRating or top split for that one. So any position you can get is going to be basically bonus points. So, you know, some of these guys are going to be fighting pretty hard to get as many points as they can. And, you know, hopefully we have a clean race. The track's pretty wide open, so we should see some really good, clean racing. But there are those long straightaways where the draft is going to be real important once again. And so I don't think we'll see anybody kind of pull away like we did last time, and hopefully see some great battles for the lead.
All right, a lot of drivers coming across the line right now. Marcias is first, Wood is second, Prix jumps up to 5th, Noralampi finishes his session in 3rd place. So a lot of drivers there were just able to click in their second lap before the checkered flag fell on the session, and as a flyover takes place here at Le Mans, it is time to read out your starting grid. As here they go, displaying the tricolour over the front straight. Always lovely to see here at Le Mans and on iRacing. A cool little feature they've created for us here at the Circuit de la Sarthe as we get set for today's 12-lap race. So as a flyover passes above, let's go to the grid. Sergio Marcias on pole position by less than 1/10 of a second over Matt Wood. And those two have a decent half-second gap over Juha Noralampi down there in 3rd place. Sergio Fernandez, impressive qualifying performance for the number 17 car. He'll be starting 4th. Gono Frisch, a little out of his comfort zone, I think, back here in 5th place. Stefan Blucher will be to his outside. Ove Trantre and Nuno Moreira, another poor qualifying performer down there in 8th place. Are on row number 4. Victor Rodriguez and Jamie Hall round out the top 10.
Yeah, starting in 11th position is Rob Olenek. Right next to him is Andreas Tentonis, Pablo Suarez and Nicolas Mucanos behind them. Tyson Meyer and Barry West in 15th and 16th position. Glenn Corrigan, Adam Frazier, Simon Schultz in 19th, John Stevens in 20th, and Daniel Sanfilippo in the 21st spot.
Just waiting for Andreas to grid up. Actually, he's here now. So all 21 cars are going to opt to start from the grid. And they are about to get underway for 12 laps of racing action here at Le Mans. The lights off and away they go. Marcias gets a nice launch off the line, but he's outside. Matt Wood does not, and that's going to cost him 2nd position to Noralampi before they even get into the first chicane. Marcias leading them around as they're going to try and get single file up front, but still side-by-side racing back in the pack.
They come up through the Dunlop chicane under the bridge right here. We did have a little incident in the back of the field on that start as they go back down the hill, wind on down, and soon they'll exit to Tetra Rouge, and that'll bring us on to the Mulsanne Straight for the first time.
That was Adam Frazier who got the worst end of that incident. He's already had to take a tow to the pits, and that's going to be a lengthy tow, unfortunately, and in fact he has disconnected. So already we're down to 20 cars, and now on down this Mulsanne Straight, these drivers are going to be able to get slipstream on each other. However, no one's going to be able to challenge Marcias for the lead right now. He's already pulling out a healthy gap over 2nd place driver who is now Noralampi.
Yeah, they're all single file. Do have someone trying to make a move a little bit farther back, but getting into these chicanes are really tricky because you come in fairly fast. You can see them sliding around, and you got to get that good run out of it because it leads on to another fast long straightaway before we get to the next chicane.
Already, as they come out of the first chicane, we're seeing the leaders weaving around trying to break the slipstream on each other. It appeared or was what Marcias was trying to do to Noralampi One big move early on has been Victor Rodriguez. He started all the way back in 9th place. He was the driver we saw making the move back there. He has already got himself up into 5th position.
Yeah, trying to break the draft here is kind of just probably not possible, as they got these long straightaways, and these guys are taking it a little bit easy. Probably the tires are a little bit cold to begin with. Track's not too hot, so give them a chance to warm those up, but the leaders are doing a good job. Matt Wood dropping back to 3rd spot from the front row and letting Noah Lampe get in between him and Sergio Macias, but as they come down through that turn right there and lead on to another straightaway.
Trouble for Ove Trangeray and Stefan Beluca have come together coming out of Mulsanne. So another 2 cars to the pits on the opening lap.
Yeah, that was a big wreck, and once again trying to get these cars slowed down. And it just looks like Beluca just got loose, and unfortunately Ove was in the wrong spot at the wrong time.
So those 2, both with heavy damage, take a tow to the pits. Really, quite a long tow there, all the way down from the hairpin. Another driver we saw and documented the incident that took Adam Fraser out. Pablo Suarez is off.
Yeah, it looks like he's continued on here, but he definitely got off the track, and no damage. He's continuing on, so he's still in the race.
Yeah, we'll get a replay of what happened to him now. And the driver I was about to mention, Suarez, there's his incident.
Oh, he just missed the
on
corner
screen
there.
right now.
Just out-braked himself, and no harm, no foul, except losing all those positions.
Yeah, but he rejoins the track in front of... I've lost my focus now. Nicolas Mucanos. He was the other driver involved in that start incident with Adam Fraser. And Barry West goes off. And John Stevens. So even more trouble on the opening lap here.
Yeah, I think you're seeing a little bit of problem with running this low downforce setup for speed. You just don't have a lot of grip on the brakes or in those corners. So a little bit of issues for some of the guys in the back. Meanwhile, up front, Sergio's gapped Noah Lampe by about 1.2 seconds. Noah Lampe, I was watching him, had some struggle, almost lost it in the final chicane there, and really let Sergio gap him. And Noah Lampe still has Matt Wood and Gernot Frisch chomping at his tail for that second position, second, sorry.
So Adam Fraser, Ove Trangeray, Stefan Beluca, Nicolas Mucanos, John Stevens and Barry West, we've all seen run into trouble already, and one driver who's really benefited out of it is looking for 8th place right now. That's Tyson Meyer. He started all the way back in 15th. He just made a move stick down the straight by Rob Olenek, and now all of a sudden Meyer is up into 8th from 15th on the grid.
Yeah, nice job by him. He's running the number 14 car, so good points on order for him. Also, Sergio Fernandez running the 17 car all the way. Started 4th, he's back in 6th, but he's still running strong in that top 7.
One driver who really hasn't made a lot of moves is Nuno Moreira, handing out right behind this scrap we're watching go on for 8th as Rob gets the position back. Nuno Moreira started 8th. He's down in 10th. You would have thought he'd be going the other direction. Boy, the scrap for 8th place. These drivers really want that position.
Yeah, Nuno being our points leader too. This is important for him to get up there and get some points.
That's what he's trying to do right now.
Yeah, they're almost 3 wide going into that section right there. And here he is going to try to go around the outside, which is very tough to do. And then you're going to lose the drive. And now he's got to worry about the driver behind him. Victor Rodriguez is right behind him in his draft. Olenek's now right behind him.
Yeah, so Meyer, Moreira, and Olenek all trying to fight for this 8th position. And Moreira makes it stick this time. He got a bit of a break there from Maya, who saw that he was just a little bit out in front, and now Moreira's probably going to want to get away from these guys and try and run Hall down in 7th. We're watching a good little battle going for 2nd, though, right now as well, between Matt Wood and Nora Lumpy.
Yeah, Matt Wood's got around Nora Lumpy. You can see the whole train of cars behind them, so this is going to be a nice little battle. Meanwhile, Gurno's just kind of sitting back there watching this happening, but Matt Wood's able to hold off Nora Lumpy for that 2nd position for the time being.
The problem is, this has held them both up a little bit. They're now 3 seconds back of Sergio Macias.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously it proves me wrong. At the beginning, I didn't think anybody would be able to get away and just kind of run from it. But he's run a clean start, and these guys are battling it with each other and just letting him get away.
In this pack that they're at the head of goes all the way back to 7th position, though, which is currently Fernandez. Jamie Hall has taken 6th place from him. So got about 5 cars running nose to tail here as they come around to complete only lap number 2 of 12.
It is a long lap around here. So, yeah, just lap 2. Coming up through the Dunlop chicane underneath that Dunlop bridge. It's a famous photo shot. If anybody's watched 24 Hours Le Mans, you come back down the hill, and then right there is where you make the right for the Bugatti track, and then you go straight to continue on the 24-hour.
Fernandez has had an off. He has dropped from the tail end of this pack that we've been watching. He was running in 7th. He is now all the way down in 10th behind the 2nd pack that we've been watching with Moreira, Maya, Rob Olyanek, and now at the back in 10th place is Sergio Fernandez.
Right now, Matt Wood seems to be gapping Nora Lumpy a little bit, so he's back into the spot he started. It'll be interesting to see if he can close up the gap to Sergio. He's got currently about 2.5 second gap to the leader, so if he can run some clean laps, maybe he can close that up, and we'll see a battle for the lead.
Yeah, when you look at the overall points, I know we show you our projected point standings taking into account the drop weeks, but when you don't count the drop weeks, then Matt Wood is really one of the dominant drivers in the championship so far because of how often he's been able to show up and be consistent and be a front runner. And that could play dividends late on in the season, Richie, when some of our top contenders start having bad results and they don't have good drop races to fall back on. The fact that Matt Wood has been at so many events and gotten so many good finishes could actually help him in the latter parts of the championship, as we're watching the good battle for 3rd go on right now between Nora Lumpy and Prix.
Yeah, Nora Lumpy had a problem on that last section, just sliding around, and just kind of got slowed down and let Gurno get right on behind him. And meanwhile, Gurno's got to deal with Victor Rodriguez too. So Victor's doing a great job sitting there right on the tail of Gurno. So we come down this section here, and I'm watching Nora Lumpy a little bit. He's really struggling with getting the power down off some of these corners as Victor's going to try to make a move on Gurno.
He's going to have the inside for Indianapolis. Frisch is going to yield that to Victor. So Victor Rodriguez moves up into 4th. Maybe he'll try and capitalize on those little errors you'll see now of Nora Lumpy and try and take 3rd place away from him. Very rare to see Nora Lumpy struggling. He hasn't been at all of the races this season, but when he has, he's definitely been one of our dominant drivers this year.
Yeah, just a couple of spots. He just seems to just under braking. He's just coming in a little bit fast, and he's getting a little bit sideways, doing really good car control, but it's killing his momentum. And I think if Victor can get by him, he might be able to gap in as well. As there we go on screen, we got this battle with Nuno Moreira and basically Rob Olyanek. Still, Nuno struggling back in that 8th position.
Tyson Meyer slid out wide there. This is definitely not a place where you want to get offline. And because of that mistake, Moreira's going to have a nice run going down on the inside as they enter the chicane. But Meyer takes the position, or at least he's able to defend it. And they come around to complete lap 3, quarter distance. I guess one nice thing about long tracks like this, Richie, only a 12-lap race, there's not going to be a whole lot of marbles build up when they're all only passing each turn 12 times. As once again, Maria trying to take a move on Maya, but nothing happening yet.
Yeah, it's a really tough spot to make a pass. They're coming up there into that section flat out, and then they got to get slowed down for the Dunlop chicane. And Nuno is definitely in a hurry to get by Tyson.
Well, these guys have been scrapping so hard for 7th, 8th, 9th and such all race long that they really are losing touch with Jamie Hall in 6th and everyone ahead of him.
Yeah, we got basically 2 distinct gaps here. I mean, we got Sergio out there on his own about 3 seconds ahead, but then we have this battle between, well, Matt's kind of separated himself out as well, but Nora Lampi, Victor Rodriguez, and Gurno and Jamie Hall are all kind of closed up, and then there's a big 5-second gap back to that other battle we were watching.
Yeah, Jamie Hall is really hoping for a couple... Oh, and Maya's gone off, and he's going to get slowed down for that. He's going to have to yield a bunch of positions. Easy to do here, Richie, when you're carrying so much speed into these chicanes down the Mulsanne Straight.
Yeah, it's very tough to get the car slowed down, and you can see he had to cut through, and unfortunately he's going to get a pretty heavy slowdown penalty, and that's just going to kill all his momentum. But it is hard to get through those sections, but they're so important for your lap time to get a good run and get a run through those because they lead on to another straightaway.
However, Maya has been able to rejoin at the tail end of that pack. This pack going from 7th back to 10th with Maria now ahead of Olyanek, Fernandez and Maya. We've kept an eye on the drivers running in the top 10 a lot for the opening stage of this race, and rightfully so. That's where a lot of great battles have been. But, well, let's just keep an eye on these guys for Indianapolis one more time, because I wouldn't be surprised if something happens here.
Yeah, Nuno finally got in front of that pack, but he has not been able to rid himself of Rob Olenek and Sergio Fernandez. And here he comes. He's going to try to make a move. Going to the left side of him. Oh, he's going to... Nope, not going to make it happen. Nuno's fighting hard. He really needs those points, and he really needs to... Oh, we got one car off. It looks like Hall has gone off the track and hit the barriers.
And that's a shame. He had just kind of rejoined the lead pack, running in 6th place, but he's definitely got some handling issues. We're watching him trying to drive away from the scene of the incident, and his car is not going straight. He's going to tow to the pits. Here's what happened, and you see he lost it on entry, and a hard smack into the wall. Yeah, it looks like he just got on that curbing on the inside a little too much, and it just kind of spit him into the guardrail. Unfortunately, that's going to be the end of his run there. But for bad news for someone, it's good news for another driver. Now we have a new driver into the top 10, and that is Andreas Arvane Tenontones, who will from now on throughout the broadcast be known as Andreas.
Oh man, Nuno had a really bad time through that last chicane coming onto the front straightaway. It's going to open the door here for Rob Olenek, who's going to have the inside as they go through the Dunlop curve. And but Nuno's going to have the inside, for the Dunlop chicane. They're going to go side by side possibly. That's not going to work too well. Man, Nuno's really struggling to kind of keep these guys behind him. He looks like he's overdriving the car, maybe just a tiny bit. But, you know, he's up to 6th spot. But Gurno Frisch is a healthy 7 seconds up.
Yeah, Frisch is handily ahead of this pack, but he's not doing a great job of maintaining speed with the 4 cars ahead of him. I really wonder if 5th is the best that Frisch can hope for today.
Yeah, I mean, Frisch is his main competitor in the championship, so it's not like he's losing that many points to Frisch at the moment. Frisch, really, I expected him to be maybe a little bit farther up. But it looks like, you know, he's starting where he's qualified, so he just hasn't had the speed.
Maybe what Frisch would like to see is Nora Lampi and Rodriguez fight for 3rd place ahead of him, which might be about to happen, and maybe that will allow him to claw back in those couple of seconds deficit that he is behind them.
Meanwhile, Sergio's been able to gap Matt Wood up front. He's 3.7 seconds ahead. We do have possibly a pass for a 7th spot here with Rob Olenek and Sergio Fernandez. Nope, didn't make it happen, but these guys are all tightening up, bringing Tyson Meyer back into the frame. Nuno's kind of got himself a little bit of space, about a half a second, but he's got clean track in front of him. You can see them going side by side, coming down the straightaway. What a beautiful shot that is, going over those hills.
Into the heavy braking zone here. The hairpin, the Mulsanne at the end of Long Straight, and then they build up speed once again for the next best overtaking opportunity on this side of the track, which was Indianapolis, but we've seen how quickly that can go wrong with Jamie Hall just a couple of moments ago. These 4 cars gonna stay single file, though, it looks like this time around, although Rob is quite close to Sergio, but I don't think he's going to be able to get a run on him. Let's go ahead and just give a shout out to the drivers sitting outside the top 10 right now while we got a bit of a break. Simon Schultz is currently out there running in 11th position. He has a few seconds over Pablo Lombrara Suarez, who is running in 12th. Suarez has got to be a bit careful, though, because Danilo Sanfilippo is not too far behind him. One of the drivers who didn't turn the lap in qualifying. He's made it up from 21st to 13th. Barry West, after these early issues, he's running down in 14th, ahead of John Stevens, who went off with him. He is down in 15th position. And then the last car on the lead lap is Glenn Corrigan in definitely one of the easiest cars to spot out there on track. I always love that orange paint scheme he's got.
Yeah, the top 5 have all separated themselves out by a second or so. So not much going on. This battle for a 6th position with Nuno and Rob Olenek, Sergio Fernandez, and Tyson Meyer still heating up. As we see on screen, they come into this final section. Those big sausage curves right there, you don't want to hit those. That will really spit you off the track. And here they come up the front straightaway with only 7 laps to go.
You say only 7 laps to go, but we're not even halfway yet. We'll be halfway when they come to complete this, lap number 6 of 12. 3.5-minute laps around this Circuit de la Sarthe 8-mile long course here in northern France. Mirera currently holding it on ahead of Fernandez, Olyanek and Meyer. These 4 have been trading positions back and forth all race long. It seems to have kind of calmed down now a little bit. But if Mirera was hoping that he'd be able to run down Friesch, that isn't happening, Richie. Friesch was a whole second faster than Mirera last lap around.
Yeah, I was going to say that myself as we watch Glenn Corrigan. He's coming into the pits for some reason. He's got some issue. But, yeah, I was going to mention that basically Nuno's where he's at. Unless something happens up front, he's not going to catch up to Friesch running a full second slower. So, or 3/4 second slower. So he's got just kind of hang on. He's getting a little wild through those chicanes there as you see these guys bouncing over those curves. Once again, when you're running this little downforce, it doesn't just affect the cornering, but it really affects your braking as well.
And Maya has a run on Olyanek as they go down the straight. This is a battle for 7th position. Maya was at the front end of his train before he had an off a couple of laps to go. Now he's trying to claw those positions back, and boy, Rob almost lost it under braking there. His car got a bit sideways as they went into the right-hander. That's going to give the position to Maya, who's going to try and get the slipstream on Fernandez if he can, because if he can't, I have a feeling Rob might want that position back.
Yeah, it's good clean race between those two, because going through those chicanes side by side is very tough as they go into Indianapolis.
Maya way too late on the brakes.
Way too late. And did he clip the car in front of him?
I don't think so. I think he just missed him. We'll get a replay to find out for sure.
Yeah, just a little bit tricky getting into that section. Ooh, that was close. Sergio Fernandez almost got taken out. I don't think he realized how close that was, but unfortunately it's taken Tyson out of the running for that spot at the moment.
But once again, even though this isn't the first mistake we've seen from Meyer today, he's still within striking range of the cars in front. If he can just get the slipstream back, and actually Fernandez made his job a bit easier. We're running wide to that corner.
Yeah, it's helped Nuno a little bit gap himself. He's now about 2 seconds up on Fernandez, so he's kind of doing his own thing. But that battle between Fernandez, Olenek, and Meyer, and not over yet. Meyer fell back a little bit, but he's close enough to maybe claw himself back into that battle for 7th position.
By the way, we're hearing Jamie Hall is now out of a race. Now, Glenn Corrigan has rejoined the track, as has Nicholas Mucanos, who ran into some trouble early on. Chandre, Beluca, and Frazier have all been out of a race for a few laps.
Yeah, so Glenn Corrigan came in for a pit stop for some reason, but he's back out on the track, so he's looks like our last running car. So we have 16 cars running here.
All right, and now halfway, and even though Marrera, it looks like, may have been able to break away with 6th position, this pack that we've been watching is still where the hardest racing is at on the course for 7th position, with Fernandez ahead of Rob Oljanek, and if these two scrap it out enough, they'll be punching a huge hole through the air on down the Mulsanne Straight, and maybe Tyson Meyer will be able to run them both back down. In fact, I'd say he's already there.
Yeah, the battle on screen is really the only battle on the track, as everybody's separated themselves from each other. So keep an eye on this as they come down through Techeroos, leading onto the back straightaway for the first time, or sorry, for the first time this lap.
Here they go, building up the speed. How fast are they going as they head into the chicane? We'll clock Fernandez at 191 miles an hour right before he got on the brakes, and that's without any drafting help.
Yeah, and then he's got to get down to about 65 miles an hour to make that chicane. So once again, it's really makes it tricky when you're running this little downforce. So that's why we've seen some of these mistakes. But it looks like Meyer's gotten right back onto Olenek, and he might be looking to make a move as Rob moves over to block the inside line up to his next side. And he looks like he's going to have it.
Yeah, it looked like Meyer was really, because, I mean, Rob's not without a draft-in help as well here. He's able to get slipstream off Fernandez. I wonder if Meyer is just running really low downforce settings on that car, and that also would explain why we've seen him make mistakes on the braking a couple of times today.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Also, these have an H-pattern gearbox, so sometimes it's easy to miss that upshift just a little bit, and it kind of kills your momentum. Sergio's got a mirror full of Rob at the moment, and he's bringing Tyson with him.
Watch these guys head down into Indianapolis one more time. A very strong passing opportunity there. And here he goes. Bit of a late move to the inside there by Rob, but he let Sergio know he was there. And that was a clean and fair pass for position in my books. And if Sergio doesn't think so, I'm sure he'll have a chance to make a counter-attack on down the Mulsanne Straight when they get back around there. And we got trouble up front. Marrera has gone off. So all 3 of these are going to move up 1 position.
Yeah, we go through, I believe that's Indianapolis, coming up to the next section, which is probably Arnage, which is probably, oh, he just misses his braking point completely, and they have to back up and keep going. And that's really going to hurt Nuno, as he needs as many points as possible. So we'll see if he's got a long ways to go. We're only halfway, so he's got no damage, and he's got the speed possibly to catch up to these 2 drivers in front of him.
Yeah, using our dynamic timing scoring system here, it looks like he's about 4 seconds back off this pack that we've been keeping an eye on for race long, which now has gone from being for 7th position to 6th position. So Marrera's coming in. Well, this looks like it's going to be a drop week for Nuno.
Yeah, he might have had a technical problem because it didn't look like he got on the brakes at all till the very last minute. So he might be having a problem with the zone brake pedal. The battle up for third, just though, is tightening up just a tiny bit as Nora Lampe and Victor Rodriguez had closed up. He's separated back out, but he's closed it back up. Not quite a battle yet, but we'll keep an eye on that
one. Meanwhile, up front, Macias continues to hold a 4.5 second lead over Matt Wood. Credit where it's due, we mentioned how Matt Wood's holding on strongly in the championship so far, so I'm sure he'll be quite content with a second place finish here today, which it looks like he's on route for, though still a long way to go around here.
Yeah, still a long ways to go, but Matt and Sergio have just matched their times almost exactly, so it's tough to close that gap if you're running the same as the leader. Gurno, too, has not made much of a difference into Victor's grouping, so they're all running 338 4s and 5 6s, so not much going on up front. Still, the battle on track is Rob Olenek and Sergio Fernandez looking to make a move. Not quite close enough, but he's poking his nose, getting in his mirrors, see if he can get Rob to make a mistake under brakes. That's still brought in. Tyson Meyer is still there. Even though the mistakes he's had, he's still stayed within that grouping.
Yeah, we're hearing, I think through social media here, that Tyson Meyer kind of just threw this setup in the car. I guess he found it on the forums or something. Maybe that would explain why he's running into a couple of errors as well. Richie, did you, as we watch him close back under braking under Mulsanne, did you ever have a race like that in IndyCar where you had a team where your setup wasn't working or something, so you threw in a teammate setup and you kind of entered the race thinking, all right, I have no idea what I've got underneath me?
Yeah, it's funny you ask, because all my years in IndyCar, I've never had a teammate. So I was one-man island. Probably the only time when we were running the Swift chassis, we were struggling with it, so I put Michael Andretti because they were running that too, but I couldn't drive his setup. It was at Milwaukee, I believe. And but most of the time, if we just didn't get it, we just didn't have it.
Oh, Rob, very close to the wall there on the exit of Arnage.
Yeah, that was really close. That tire wall sticks out, and he just about ended his race. So that's given the opportunity for Sergio to get a nice run up on him as he's going to pull out to the left and see if he can get it done. Nope, he's going to be on. Oh, it's going to be. And oh, no. Sergio slides on out and gives that spot to Tyson now. So you can see how that downforce, missing that downforce, that's the one place that you're going to want it. There he goes. Just comes in a little fast and just doesn't have the grip. Gets out into the kitty litter. Is able to keep it going straight, but does lose that position.
I was checking over the shoulders of those drivers, trying to work out if that would bring Nuno Moreira back into the battle before I remembered he pulled into the pits at the end of last lap. So we should give a shout out to Andreas, who has been able to move up to 9th position now with Nuno's misfortunes, and also Simon Schultz has been able to break into top 10, which is quite significant considering he was one of the drivers who didn't set a qualifying time and started all the way back in 19.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what happened with Nuno and why he had to come in, because that really dropped him way down. He's now in 15th position, and it's going to be tough to get anywhere up. He's got Barry West about 2 seconds in front of him. So he might be able to catch Barry, but that's going to hurt him in the points.
Yeah, but as you mentioned, he has rejoined the race. So whatever was bothering him, hopefully he's got it sorted, but unfortunately the damage was already done. The battle for third brewing again a little bit. Victor Rodriguez has ran down Nora Lampe, who's trying to swerve down Mulsanne straight here and break up that slipstream.
Yeah, Nora Lampe's had a good run, but he's been a little bit sliding around, so it looks like he's struggling just to run those consistent lap times. And Victor's done a good job, too. He started 9th all the way up to 4th position.
And the battle for 6th is on again as well. Meyer making a move by Rob. We've seen Meyer up here a couple of times and then run into issues. This time he's going to try again. 6th place is the highest he's been all race long after starting all the way back in 15th.
Yeah, both of these guys have done a great job. Tyson Meyer 15th to 7th and Rob Olenek 11th to 6th. And it was a group of 3. Now it's a group of 2. Sergio is, after his mistake, has dropped off the back of this group. Oh, no, there he is. Sorry, on my, oh, there, he was gone on my screen. So my apologies there to Sergio. You've gotten yourself back into that group.
6th, 7th, and 8th positions. It's been best battle on track pretty much throughout the entirety of a race. And now once again, Rob gets a nice run on Tyson, but I don't think he's going to be able to do anything with it, or he's not going to opt to do anything with it and just remain in 7th position for now. So we got that battle. We got the battle brewing for 3rd place. And that's about it, honestly, right now. But we still have 16 cars out there on the lead lap, ready to capitalize on any drivers that run into issues ahead of them.
Yeah, unfortunately, because this track is so long, it does have the issues of people just kind of spreading out, just part of the racing here. But Victor's been able to hang on the back of Norlampi. He's not quite gotten close enough to make a move. So once again, we'll keep an eye on that final podium battle. But the real battle here is for that 6th, 7th, 8th spot. Is Rob's still trying to poke his nose in on Tyson, trying to take that position back. And Sergio's just sitting back in the wings waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, well, Rob almost lost his nose going through the Porsche curves. Tyson Meyer got a little bit off the racing line, and as he came back on, there was almost contact between the pair. However, there wasn't, and around goes Fernandez. Yeah, he's going to be able to save it.
Came in a little fast, and he just had to kind of yank on the steering wheel to keep from hitting the guys in front of him. But here we come. Once again, this is a tough spot because your braking zone, it's just there's no real good markers, and he just comes in a little fast and hits that curb, and away he goes. But he's going to be able, ooh, and just right in front of them, Tyson Meyer has cut the Dunlop chicane, and he's going to get a slowdown, and it's going to give a real easy pass for Rob Olenek. And,
yeah, here we are. We're watching it on replay right now, Richie.
That looks like he just comes in a little fast and just couldn't get it slowed down. Has to cut right through. And once again, you get that slowdown penalty and give a nice, easy pass to Rob.
However, once again, Tyson finds himself with a big mistake and yet still within striking range of Rob Olenek as he rejoins the circuit. He still has his slipstream, and the battle is still on for 6th place. We'll rejoin live action now and catch it back up with him on the Mulsanne straight, because I have a feeling Tyson does want to get 6th position again.
Yeah, that's about the 3rd mistake we've seen from Tyson, but they've all been kind of just minor enough to where he doesn't lose his position in the group. So, you know, he's gotten pretty lucky. They've dropped Sergio from that mistake early on. So now it is a group of 2.
But let's not forget here that there is an incident limit for this race, 17 incident points. I don't think he's accumulated near that many, but just something you've got to be a bit wary of around here.
Yeah, you can get those incident points. Not as bad as racing at Spa, but they can add up. Probably what's worse is getting those slowdown penalties at the wrong time. But it looks like, you know, Tyson's got away with some of those.
I was about to say, is there ever a right time for a slowdown penalty? But I was in a Miata race on iRacing a couple of weeks ago, and I suffered one, and right as I was serving it, there was a 3-car wreck ahead of me. So I'm like, oh, thank you, slowdown penalty. That would be a good time for a slowdown penalty. But yeah, definitely around here at Le Mans, there's no good time for one.
I wish they would have something where your light starts blinking when you get the slowdown penalty, because sometimes the guy in front of you gets one and then he just jams on the brakes right in front of you. Meanwhile, Norlampi has basically built that gap up to Victor again, so not much of a battle going on. He's about 1.5 seconds ahead of Victor. It's kind of been seesawing back and forth. Berno running kind of by himself out there in 5th spot.
Talking about running by himself, Sergio Macias is about to come through the last couple of turns here and click off just 2 laps left to go. And really, all that could stop him now from a win is the Toyota engine. Is that still too soon? I'm sorry.
Oh, it's never too soon for that.
Of course, Toyota have picked up a victory here at Le Mans since one escaped them a couple of years ago when the race leading Toyota ran into trouble with just 3 minutes left to go in the race and gave a victory to Porsche. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, go ahead.
Definitely, you know, Sergio's got to be... He can't get complacent, Richie, because even the best drivers, I mean, Le Mans is one of those circuits, and I know we say this a lot, especially with this Lotus 79 car, because it's so on edge to drive, but it's one of those circuits that isn't exactly going to be forgiven to a mistake.
No, we talked about those slowdown penalties, so if he picks one up at the wrong time, Matt Wood could eat that 5-second gap pretty quickly. So Sergio's got to stay focused. He's done a great job is what I was going to say. He had a great start, kind of stayed out of everybody's way, just put his laps together. He's been really consistent, basically running the low 338s pretty much all the time. His fastest lap is 337.897. Just done a masterful job. Matt Wood did a good job. Had to fight for that 2nd spot, but once he did, he gapped Nora Lampe. Nora Lampe, you know, he's had a scrappy little run here to 3rd. Meanwhile, on screen, we do have that one battle heating up once again between Olenek and Meyer.
Yeah, this battle was never really cooled down. Meanwhile, one position change happened last lap. Nuno Moreira got 13th from John Stevens. Stevens had a couple of offs, but we could be about to see another more significant position change take place here for 6th once again. But no, it's not going to happen. I think Meyer actually backed off a little bit there. He might not want to be ahead of Rob right now. Might be starting to think strategy here as we enter the closing laps of a race.
Yeah, you really want to try to get that pass done as they go into like the Porsche curves, so you have a spot to maybe get a little bit of a gap before they go onto the straightaway on Mulsanne straightaway again. But yeah, you're right. It did look like he lifted before they got to the end of the straight. Same thing. Looks like he could have probably made a move, but he's just kind of waiting. And, you know, that's probably a smart move is the way this race is going.
And definitely when there's long slipstreaming areas here, you might want to wait until Indianapolis, the corner they're coming up to right now on the last lap, is really the last, I wouldn't exactly say easy overtaking opportunity. Meyer, no, once again, he backs off. I think that's where he's going to try and make his move on the last lap, because that's really the point of no return. If you're out in front coming out of Indianapolis, that left-hander back there, then the guy behind has got a bit of work to do in these final few corners. He can't exactly depend on the slipstream to make a past it. Top 5 positions looking pretty locked down as Macias comes around to start the final lap here at Le Mans. He's led every lap so far from pole position. Got great launch off line.
Tyson crashed. Tyson crashed. I think in Porsche curves. So that's going to be the end of that battle. Meanwhile, Sergio just set the fastest lap of the race right there. But here he comes and just kind of loses it all on his own, and that's going to be the end of that. He's not going to get away with this one this time. He clips the wall and just sends him into, he hit everything but the lottery on that one.
And right at the same time, Simon Schultz, who was running in 10th position, ran into trouble. And a bit of pressure coming from behind from Pablo Suarez, who didn't get off to the greatest of starts and simply slips up. And that's what we're saying, Richie. You know, a lot of these drivers might have been getting a bit complacent here in the closing stages, thinking, oh, just 1 lap left, or, well, at that point it was 2 laps left. but it's still a lot of racing to go, and there are walls nearby all the way around this Le Mans circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. The speed is high enough that one little mistake, then you can see there's no runoff area in a lot of these areas, just guardrails. So, but once again, Sergio's doing a great job. Like I said, he set the fastest lap of the race on the last one at a 47.1. So he's really getting a handle on this car as the fuel burns down. But he can't be complacent. It's easy to get lulled into a mistake.
So Maia's retirement brings Fernandez up into 7th place, Andreas up into 8th place. Pablo Suarez is now up into 9th place after a couple of cars going off in front of him. And rounding out your top 10, the driver who started dead last looks like it will be Danilo Sanfilippo. A good race by the number 21 car there. That'll jump him up a few iRating points.
Yeah, car 21 started 21st, so yeah, good job to him. And it's also going to bring Nuno back up one spot, but he's not going to be happy with these points as his competitor in the championship is sitting in 5th place pretty easily.
Yeah, I have a feeling this will probably be a drop week for Moreira. John Steve, who is that running behind him actually there? That's Schultz actually now down in 12th place, so that's why he recovered. He's going to try and finish this race out. But there's no question as to what position the number 2 car is in, and that's position number 1. He started there. He's been there pretty much all race long. And when a checkered flag falls, it looks like he's going to be there by a good 6 seconds over Matt Wood. He's been able to pull away from Wood by about half a second a lap. Sergio Macias, he has had a 3rd place finish at Silverstone this season. He got 2nd at Pocono, and then he finally pulled off a victory just a little while ago at Spa. Looks like he's going to pull off his 2nd victory of the season here today in the Lotus 79 Championship, as Macias now only has the forward chicanes to tackle. As he comes out of the Porsche curbs, left, right, and then he'll be across the line to see the checkered flag here at the Circuit de la Sarthe. Sergio Macias wins in Le Mans.
Yeah, Matt Wood's going to come home 2nd. It's amazing how like everybody's just separated out. There's not really one battle on the track, so everybody just needs to keep it clean. Matt Wood 2nd. Nora Lampe, really good job hanging in there for 3rd. Victor Rodriguez, a little bit behind him, coming in 4th. Did a great job starting 9th. And Gurno rounding out the top 5.
Yeah, with all the battles pretty much resolved here, John Stevens just got by the wounded car of Simon Schultz for position. Looks like it's going to be a good time to take a break here on GSRC, because we're going to have a few drive interviews coming up following this race. And we'll give you a full race rundown here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hello and welcome back to the Circuit de la Sarthe, where we just witnessed 12 laps of racing action for round 10 of the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship here at Le Mans. And when the checkered flag flew, it was Sergio Macias crossing the line in first position, 4 seconds ahead of Matt Wood, who had a solid performance all race long to come home in second. Juha Noorlampi rounds out the podium in a number 3 car with the 3rd position. Victor Rodriguez, a solid performance from him, starting 9th on the grid, comes home in 4th place. Gernot Frisch, not a great race, probably not going to hurt him in the points, so with the top 5 in the strong split. Rob Oljanek, boy, what a race he had. He comes home in 6th position. Sergio Fernandez comes home in 7th, was also involved in that. And a great race by Andreas Arvanitantonis down there in 8th place. Pablo Suarez and Danilo Sanfilippo round out the top 10.
Coming up in an 11th spot is John Stevens. Right behind him is Simon Schultz, who had a problem right there at the end. Barry West coming home in 13th position. Had some mistakes early on, kind of ran by himself. Nuno Moreira, our points leader, all the way down in 14th, and I'm sure he's not going to be very happy with that. Glenn Corrigan running 15th after the early pit stop. Tyson Meyer, wow, he had like 9 lives out there, but it finally caught him out, coming in 16th. Behind him, Nicholas Mukanos in 17th, Jamie Hall 18th, Ove Trinkerade, Stefan Beluca, who had an issue on the opening lap, and then Adam Frazier as well.
So those are 21 performers here in the top split. Unfortunately, Adam Frazier didn't get too far, but one driver who went quite far was Juha Noorlampi. He wasn't a race winner today, but still a good job out there, Juha, starting 3rd and finishing in 3rd.
Yeah, that was correct.
Bit of a quiet race out there for you, really, wasn't it? I mean, you got 2nd off a line from Matt Wood, but he was eventually able to run you down. And you guys weren't really able to stick together up front. You all kind of got spread out.
Yeah, I think I had to say congratulations to Sergio. First of all, he was very quick at this race, at least. And I don't know what was the key about that, but I just had to go and watch the replay and learn something there. And I want to congratulate also Matt Wood. He was very fast at this weekend, and I didn't lose bad guys at all.
Obviously, a lot of people on iRacing and in the real world, you are familiar with watching sports cars go around this circuit. How does it feel driving the Lotus 79 around here? Does it suit the track well?
Well, I don't really like this Lotus 79 at this kind of tracks, but what can you do? We race these kinds of tracks also, but I don't know if this car is any suitable for this kind of tracks. But well, we have to do that. But I'd rather not.
Well, we go to a little bit of a smaller, more twistier track next week over at Imola. I suppose you're looking forward to that.
Well, yes, I just want to come and make some points at the last 2 races if I can. To secure the World Championship title, because I think this was very good points here, and I think this championship is almost done now.
Yeah, just 2 rounds left to go. Well, thanks for coming to talk to us, Juha. Might have not been the most enjoyable race for you, but still came home with a solid podium finish, so congratulations on that.
Thank you, and thank you, Samuel Ritchie and Amjad, for a great job, and have a good day, and God bless you.
And that was our 3rd place finisher, Juha Noorlampi. Well, the Le Mans circuit, Richie, it's quite fast and got some high-speed corners out there. Might be a bit exhausting. All of our drivers seem to be worn out. They don't want to take a long walk up to the broadcast booth to come and talk to us.
Yeah, I see that. It is a demanding track, even though it's not a lot of corners, but it takes a lot of focus to kind of keep the car on the track. As you can see, it's easy to make some mistakes and end your race.
Well, we appreciate Juha coming here and talking to us. We also appreciate all of our viewers for tuning in today, and we hope you enjoyed the show. It wouldn't be possible without a few people, though, so we got some People we would like to thank, including of course all of the organisers and the competitors here in the Lotus 79 Classic Team Championship, for coming out here today and putting on a great show. We would also like to thank all of the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts, and there you can see them all listed on your screen. Additional thanks goes out to Eric Hetcomb and Drew Lalonde, who provide us with our great music. You can find more of our music looking at their websites there listed on the screen. Thanks to the team today, Richie, Amjad and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, and Instagram at GSRC_gram. All of the upcoming races for our other series are listed on screen, so check those out, mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.